Hello, friends. This is Divya Parekh, and I'm delighted to share that I have Jen Tanaka with me. She's one of my favorite people. So Jen is an empowerment speaker, leadership facilitator, and training consultant whose mission is to bridge the confidence gap for women in the workplace. After thriving through a childhood of abuse and trauma and years in corporate HR, she has created the Soul Fuel Leader, a mentorship practice that empowers women to create a career they desire and life they love by mastering the art of conversation.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, Divya, I am so glad we're connecting today. You know, I wanted to, first, before we even get started, I wanted to thank you because when I introduce you or when I mention to anyone, how did I get started in the writing, I always say, Divya is my book coach or my writing coach and my business coach. But I do have to share that definitely doesn't do you any justice. And the work that we've done together, it's not just you help me with writing and crafting my story in a way that moves people through words. Not only did you help me become a national best-selling author. I mean, that's one piece of the work we did together, but that really is just a byproduct of the time that we spent together. I think one of the things that I'm so excited or grateful about having you as my partner in my life, with my writing, with my book, and with my business, is this book in particular was the step in my business that helped me hone into my message and use as a platform, a tool, and a vessel for my story and women in confidence in the workplace. So I can't just say that you are a coach, a book coach, or an author. That's just a byproduct of who you are and who you are for me and my business. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing that, Jen. That is so, you made my day. I needed that today.
Good. You need every day. You have to put that and post it on your wall.
I'm going to, and that's why we are in the business of doing what we do. You, I, and women that we help with. That's the key. It's not just about creating our life stories to our excellence. It's about helping other women become the success stories that we want to see them to be.
Right.
So, wow. Thank you. Thank you for
You're
that.
welcome.
I really appreciate that.
I did want to make sure I share that before we even started anywhere, because, just book coach or writing coach or book coach and business coach does not do you justice with what magic happens.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So let's look through your book journey, how it has progressed for you. So your book is written, and as you mentioned, it's number one international best-selling, and you are a number one international best-selling author, and which is so fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
It's very exciting.
So tell me, why did you decide to write a book?
I wouldn't call myself a writer. I actually never termed myself as someone who could write well. I speak well, and I know there's a cliche that how you speak is how you write. I don't see that, because I think after having been years in corporate, I taught myself to filter my message through a corporate lens. And so this particular book was to facilitate a process of my message getting out to more people. This is so that I can encourage other women who've gone through similar pain that I did to make a choice for themselves. And while I get to do that in corporate and with the work that I do in corporate, I really wanted something that could facilitate to a larger audience or a larger impact. So I wrote the book because I had this story that it buried so far inside me that was paralyzing my ability to live a life I really desired. I had these experiences within that I was just hiding them, and I used them, but I never wrote about them. I never spoke out about them. I used them to kind of fuel me within. And I realized writing and sharing this message will give me the ability to help others get the courage to unpack their trauma, unpack their stories, and then drive ownership, all of us, ownership to appreciate and love and embrace our whole self, our whole story. And I couldn't do that as well without having a vessel or having a process to help me filter through my own story, filter through my own message, and get this out there to everyone else.
Oh, that is so true. Your story is so amazing, Jen. And I know it has already helped so many people. So now you've finished the writing of the book. You have finished your journey, and it's been some time you have done that. And now you're seeing the impact of book in your personal life. So I'll ask you 3 questions.
Sure.
What did the book do for you? And how did that process, you've always mentioned, that it was magic for you. How did that translate into your coaching? And the 3rd question is, what would you say are the tangible benefits of that transformation in your coaching?
Sure. Let's go with kind of the what did it do for me piece. And I think I know that the book acted as a ticket. So it didn't give me the answer, or it didn't give me the result that way. It was almost a door that was opened. It was a key. It was a ticket. Is the book a marketing tool? Absolutely. Did it expand my network and influence? Absolutely. Does it, and it definitely affords more credibility for myself and the work that I do, of course. But what it did for me was really gave me the confidence to know that I can share my message in different ways. And the biggest way is writing. And again, the book for me turned me into a writer. In simplest terms, that's what it did for me. It turned me into a writer. It gave me the confidence to say that I can write, and then I can turn that message and share that in different ways, not just in the work that I do. Now, how did that translate to my coaching? My goodness. I think it wasn't the book process itself. It was the coaching that you and I did for the business, your framework of moving through an experience or a story is how I help my clients as well. So it's talking with them and prompting them with similar questions to what you did with me, or showing them to speak in images and showing them to really feel what was happening and then use those words to translate their message. And in my case, I work with corporate communication, or women in corporate and their communication in the corporate environment. So it's, how do we color our words? Because again, most of us are taught and trained to be corporate, and it's stale, and then there's a purpose for that. However, nowadays, I mean, you know this, Divya, and with the many people that you work with, we are in an emotional society now, right? Everything is about emotion, and everything is about how do we engage, and we need to show that in our writing. And I think too much time is spent on the black and white message. Don't overinterpret. Don't misinterpret. You help me transform that process with my clients.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That again, that's why I do what I do.
Yes. And I mean, I don't want to discount, right? Because there are definitely some tangible benefits to our time together. I secured paid speaking gigs because of this. And one of those paid speaking gigs is a continuous one. It's every, so many months I'm back in the room, paid to speak. It's connected me with thought leaders around the world. I'm born and raised in New York City, and I lived in Honolulu, Hawaii for a very long time. And so being on an island, going from a big city to living on an island, you almost lose sense of what's out there. And now with this book and with the work that I'm doing, it's almost like my hands reached out, and now I can impact and be supported. So it's not just me doing the work for everyone else. It's also I get the support from thought leaders worldwide. So it's been a springboard to my business.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of having a book, because not only it builds you, it builds your community. And the
Mm-hmm.
best part, what you said, is that it becomes a community of collaborators. It becomes a community of influencers, because now influencers start looking at you, especially as a published author. And on top
Mm-hmm.
of that, if you're number one best-selling author as an influencer yourself, and that opens up doors, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So sounds like you're doing exciting work. And I know
Yeah.
you contributed to one of the magazines that I am
Yes.
on board of directors of. And as well as, as you mentioned, another door opened up for you because of your book to
Mm-hmm.
contribute to a Las Vegas magazine. How awesome is that?
Yes, it's wonderful. So I didn't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about what has happened,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that my first day with you was going to amount to what's happened since then.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know what's going to happen next. What I do know for certain, though, what I do know for sure is that as long as I keep taking that action and not be afraid
Mm-hmm.
to write the story, not be afraid to ask for support or resource with people like you, I will, I can only go so far without that support as well. So it is a give and take. And that's,
Mm-hmm.
I know for certain, is a result of the ticket, right? Of the book.
Yes. No, thank you for sharing. So tell us, what's next for you?
And so I've started writing a blog, and I do it
Mm,
in both published blog. Yes, thank you. I'm excited about it.
I'm
Published
excited for
blog,
you.
I know, and even sourcing my stories, right? I think one of the things that you talked about in our time together is you find your lessons and you're writing every day. And so I now journal every single day, and I find the stories that are in my day-to-day living, excuse me. And then I've started the blog. The other thing that I'm very excited about is that I started an interview series where I speak with women at all levels about strength, courage, and confidence. So
Mm-hmm.
that are two tangible things. It's actually a lot of work that I'm taking on,
Uh-huh.
and it's not hard work in that it's fearful. It's exciting work, and it's energizing. So you mentioned earlier, so thank you with the introduction. My mission is to bridge the confidence gap with women in the workplace. And right now, with the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement,
Mm-hmm.
right now is the time more than ever to
Absolutely.
yeah, it's now, and now is the time to equip women with the tools to rediscover their
Mhm.
strength, rediscover their confidence, and rediscover their courage.
Awesome. I'm so excited for you, Jen. I want to share with our audiences that know that, what we are talking about here is just not for women. It can be for
Mm,
men or women, because it's almost like, we are talking about a car. So if woman is the engine, you need wheels. Or if
mhm.
men are the engine, women are the wheels and the rest of the body. And we cannot do without each other. So the key is that if you are finding that there are places where you're not able to open up, connect with us. And I would be thrilled to be open. It goes beyond boundaries. It goes beyond countries. It goes beyond races. It goes beyond genders. So that's what we are here for, to build a community. And thank you again, Jen.
Thank you. And I'm looking forward to what's to come, right?